One of the reasons why I never caught that alcoholic tag and left it on myself after I stopped drinking alcohol was because just of what it suggested to me moving forwards. It suggested to me that for a start I was broken, that there was something inside of me that was broken, that there was something in my genes that was broken, that there was some disease that I had that I couldn't get rid of. But more than that, it suggested that I wasn't responsible, for any of the alcohol that came, that was put into my mouth. Now, I'm a very optimistic person. I'm a very forward-looking person. I believe that humans have a propensity for growth. They want to grow in life. They have we're purpose-driven animals, right? We seek out purpose. Hence why we've got the big brains, the big thinking brains. Otherwise we'd just be, there's a theory called the triune theory, which means that you've got this old brain in the back, which is responsible for your heartbeat, your breathing, all the fundamental things about you staying alive. Then on top of that, you've got the emotional brain, right? The mammalian brain, they call it. And that is responsible for all your emotions, right? So it will push you forward. So fear on one side and then happiness on the other side. And these things are competing, but they're moving you towards, hopefully, not getting eaten by other animals. And then on top of that, you've got the thinking brain, the rational brain, the frontal cortex. And that is responsible for you thinking and thinking through what's happening to you. Let's just say, for instance, we're living in a world now where we're still being dictated to by our emotional brains, but you can rationalize these things and you can say to yourself, well, that fear is not really appropriate, right, in this situation, because I'm not really, when I'm in debt, I can get myself out of it, right? It's not really, there's no animals going to come and eat me. Maybe in this place there might be, but I haven't seen any yet. We're more than likely going to get hit by a cyclist or something like that here. They come down here like the clappers. This is all the way down the side of a mountain through the trees and stuff. All young lads on mountain bikes, top speed. I mean, nutcases. But it's only that kind of a nutcase stuff that you can do, where you can, talking about the triune brain, you can divorce your emotional brain from reality, divorce the fear from. I mean, that's proper fear. But the responsibility part of this, that never sat well with me, because, like I said, this is something that I believe that, if you want to get where you want to go in life, you've got to strip yourself of excuses. You've got to strip all the negative narrative out of your brain, or as much as you possibly can, and replace it with forward-thinking, positive things that are going to unlock your potential. Like we've said in previous videos, the potential is only there, right? It's not, you have to make that potential come out in reality. And the only way you do that is by working on it, right? That's what we say. Stop the flow, do the work, move on. The work is all about that, unlocking your potential, taking away the things that are going to lock up your potential. So all the negative emotions, all the negative thoughts, all the barriers that you put in your own way, and unlocking all the positive stuff, all the things that are the self-efficacy, the self-belief, the self-confidence, all that kind of stuff that is going to move you forwards and make it easier for you to move forwards. So this idea of the alcoholic, I'm just not having it. Every drop of alcohol that I ever put into my mouth was put there by me. I knew what I was doing. I might not have understood fully the consequences of it, but I understood the consequences enough. From day one, I understood that there are consequences to putting this shit into your body, right? Short-term, immediate consequences, the nausea, the vomiting, all that kind of stuff. That's all short-term, and that should tell you something about the long-term. Now, you can excuse that, right, because you're young and you don't see those things. You cannot possibly see some of the things. You can look around and you can see alcoholics, but because we live in a world where there is that separation where people say, well, they're alcoholics because they couldn't handle the alcohol, because there's something wrong with them, because they're diseased. That keeps you drinking, right? Because it makes you think that putting alcohol into your body is a normal thing. And it's not normal. We've made it normal, but it's not normal. It's not natural to do that, to put manufactured alcohol into your body, massive amounts of it, so that you're screwing up everything, right? So, it was my choice to put that alcohol into my mouth. It was my choice. I decided, but it was also my choice to stop, right? I wasn't forced to stop. There were certain things that were pointing in the right direction and saying to you, you must stop doing this, because, A plus B plus C, if you keep doing this, now you understand enough to know that the consequences of what you're doing are going to get worse. And if you just pile that up on top of each other, you can see where you're going to go, right? So that's the decision that helps you to stop. But I think one of the biggest reasons, from that responsibility point of view, is if you abnegate your responsibility in that one area, right, and you say to yourself and to everyone else, don't forget, these people don't just say that to themselves. It's not something that they repeat inside of themselves. They broadcast this to the world, that they're an alcoholic. And they say, well, I couldn't help it. But if you say you couldn't help that, then what does it say about your role as a man? I can only speak from a male perspective, as a father, as a friend to somebody, right? How is that going to play out in those roles? When you're trying to teach, on one hand, responsibility in your children, you're trying to say to yourself, well, I'm responsible for getting towards my goals, but at the same time, you're accepting something inside of yourself which says that you're not responsible. If you're not responsible for this one thing, what's to stop you from saying, well, this behavior that I'm trying to avoid, that is another behavior that I'm not responsible for. Do you get what I mean? So it can lead you down a path. For me, it's just not on me, right? It's not on. I'm not using that. I never use it as an excuse. I don't ever want to use things as an excuse. It's my responsibility. Ranting today, but there you go. Take care of yourself, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Onwards and upwards. Bye now.